first session we have online today is our online discussion of weekly Wondrous Lotus Sutra with Brother Joe. I'm honored to be the facilitator today.感恩 to Sister Tzu Chi for giving me the opportunity. This morning we have Sister Lee Choo, Sister Riyani, Sister Michele, and Sister Effie for sharing their insights on various episodes of Wisdom at Dawn. Truly thankful to our four sisters for spending their precious time to prepare for this session. Okay, these are the episodes that our sisters will be sharing this morning. Our first sharer is Sister Lee Choo, who will be sharing on episode 688 with title At Ease with the Dharma, Bringing Peace and Stability to Sentient Beings. The stanza goes like this. One who has not attained the Dharma of the sages yet claims that he has an arrogant mindset. This is known as overbearing arrogance. Claiming one has realized what one has not is overbearing arrogance. We must thoroughly awaken to the Four Noble Truths and the 37 Principles. Okay, let us welcome Sister Lee Choo.
感恩 Sister Lee Lee for giving me the opportunity to share. Okay. Good morning to our Dharma family. Good morning, Brother Joe. Okay, Sister Lee Lee, can we have the first slide? Yes. Okay, the stanza reads, the Buddha is saying here that while these people may say, I know, they still have not, in fact, completely eradicated their ignorance and afflictions. Not yet. Buddha used many kinds of skillful means, analogies, expressions, and so forth to guide us. The stanza, I know. I thought I didn't have arrogance, but I do have. Allow me to share my story. Okay, there was one day I met this person and I just had that feeling of irritation towards this person. There are three categories of people whom will bring sufferings. Category 1, people we love whom had left us. Category 2, people whom we meet we just dislike. Category 3, not getting what we want from people. By having Dharma into practice, my consciousness was alert and aware. I need to change and transform my negative thoughts of arrogance to be humble, with speaking good words and doing good deeds and have good thoughts, and to create good affinities with others. I greeted him good morning and spoke with kindness to that person. Yes, and with a smile, how can I help you? And everything went well after that. So when we parted, I was happy. And the other person was happy too. And with this joy and peace, the other person will have good thoughts, speech and action with others. It will be a domino effect. Because we transform our thoughts at that moment, we change our affinities with people, matters, and objects. Okay, Sister Lily, slide number 3. Okay, we do not need this arrogance. Humble oneself by speaking kindly to others. Smile and your words will come out smiling. Rejoice for others. Be happy for others' success. Concern for others. If they are not well, ask, how are they? And offer our helping assistance. Feel the pain of others. Transform thoughts of gratitude, respect, and love. Okay, Sister Lily, the next slide. Yes. Only by truly connecting with the Dharma, understanding and realizing it, can we avoid deceiving ourselves and others. Buddha hoped our hearts could be peaceful and stable. The Buddha wanted to bring peace and stability to sentient beings. By practicing our Tzu Chi mission, just a minute. Okay. By practicing our Tzu Chi mission, purify our mind and others, build peace and harmony society, no more suffering in this world. Anyway, to conclude my story, the next following day, I met that person again. But there was no irritation and bad feelings towards him. Sister Lily, the next, let us share Master's aphorism. Those who have great wisdom must all be more humble, just like the rice stalk that bows under the weight of ripe grain. I think that's all my sharing for today. Kangen for listening to my sharing. Okay, Sister Lily.
Yeah, okay. Kangen Sister Lee Chu for your wonderful sharing. Yeah, now let us have Brother Joe for the comments.
Okay, thanks everybody, and good morning. Good morning to all. This is indeed a very special session. I'm right now in Taichung. We have another event here, so I came here last night, and this morning was preparing for today's event. So thanks to always very nice to see everybody and hearing Sister Lee Chu's sharing about this particular episode. I think we also talked about this episode before, especially the part about the I know. And I think what Sister Lee Chu shares is something that is very common. You know, we all know how important it is to have good relations and form a good affinity with people. But it's always the case where I think Sister Lee Chu divide this into different categories of people, right? The ones that you're going to dislike, and the ones that you probably have an opportunity to change, to feel better. And I think we all know this, but what do we do about it? And I think Sister Lee Chu gave us very good ideas about how to approach this. But I still think that, you know, this is her experience. This is what she had done, but that's still not ours. That's still not yours until you actually did this, until you actually overcome, you know, your dislike or your what others feel for you. Then it's actually becoming yours. Before you actually are able to do this, then you're still in the region of I know. You're not there yet until you're able to completely be able to be there on your own. Then you're truly beyond the I know part. So and I think this is not easy. This is not easy. I think Sister Lee Chu mentioned several ways, right? For example, humble oneself and then rejoice for others. That's easier. Rejoice for others is easier. Feel others' pain, that's a little bit difficult. And then think for others is even harder. So I think, but I think that's always something that we should we should keep in mind and always try to do. So thanks Sister Lee Choo for sharing that part of the story, and I hope that more people are like that. I hope more people, this is the problem we have today, which is people are easily angered, and people are very opinionated, and it's easy to trigger, conflict nowadays. And I think it's a trend. People are very short-fused, and people are less patient with one another. And I think it's a trend that is happening, not just within the place, but I think it's across the world, where the countries are now easier to feud, or different parts of the country or different people, they're easier to feud with others. It's not a good trend, but I think this is right. We should be practicing more patience with each other by thinking, rejoicing, and feeling the pains of others, and also have this concern for others. I think that's also very important. So thanks to Sister Lee Choo, and it sounds easy, but it's really difficult to do. So thanks, Sister Lee Choo, for sharing with us your success stories. Okay, thank you. And back to you, Sister Lee Lee. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Brother Joe. Okay, so our next sharer is Sister Riyani. She will be sharing on episode 676, Repaying Evil with Goodness. Here's the stanzas. With loving kindness and the practice of patience, we repay evil with goodness. With patience, we practice contemplations of our virtues of body, speech, and mind. When these challenges manifest, we will have our spiritual friends. When faced with criticism or slander, we must not begin to discriminate between friends or foe. Okay, let us invite Sister Riyani. Sister Riyani, over to you.
Sister Lily, for giving me opportunity to share. And good morning to Brother Joe Huang and all my Dharma brothers and sisters. Actually, my episode also linked to Sister Lily and Brother Joe comment about anger. Okay. This one just said 2 words, practice of patience. 2 times. With patience, we practice contemplation of our virtue, body, speech, and mind. Why I put anger here? Because actually I'm a very impatient person. So because of this character, so I'm easily to get angry. This is me when I'm angry, and when I'm angry, normally the victims is my close family, especially my youngest daughter. I know, like what Sister Lee Choo sharing just now. I know that I need to eliminate this bad habitual tendency, but it is not easy to do that. Whenever my daughter actions or words that not align with me, I will get angry like that. So actually, yesterday I did discuss these things with my husband. I told him, I said, tomorrow I will share about these things about the angry. I feel so bad, every time if I cannot control my angry, it will affect the whole house, especially our girls. But what surprised me is my husband said, sometimes you need to let go of your anger. Don't keep it inside of your heart, or else you will get mad, even worse. Actually, I'm not so agree with him. Then some more the one thing that my husband told me is quite funny. They said maybe because of you keep scolding her, that's why she is more love you more, because if you never scold her, you keep love her, she will take it for granted. So sometimes you also need to show your anger, so your daughter will show some respect to you. But I don't think it is a good idea to every time we easily get angry. It's also not good for my health, because every time when I get angry, I feel so tired. So, Sister Lily, can you change to the next slide? Yeah, see, like Master said, getting angry is actually to punish yourself with other people's mistakes. So I normally put my daughter mistake to punish myself. See how stupid I am. So I would like to calm my mind. Sister Lily, yeah. You see this monkey is very difficult to calm the mind. This monkey actually is like me. I also try my best to calm my mind. Instead of to react, I need to respond. Calm my mind first before I react. So the result will be better. With patience, I will practice contemplation of my virtue of body, speech, and mind. So we all must always be in state of Zen, state of meditative concentration. This state is meticulous and attentive. Our minds must not be shaken by external conditions. I know why. Until now, I still so difficult for me to eliminate this bad habitual tendency, because every time whenever I scold my girls, my daughters, or I pinch them, at the end of the day, they will always come to me and hug me and say, "Mommy, I love you. You are the best mommy in the world, even though you are so fierce, but we can feel your love." That's why I don't feel the urgency to change this bad habitual tendency. I took it for granted. So I told myself, I vow, I must diligently to eliminate this bad habit, or else in my next life, I will born as Asura. Okay, the third slide, Sister Lily. And the stanza says, when these challenges manifest, we will have our spiritual friends. Why I put this picture of our post-in Pashang sharing photo? Because this post-in Pashang sharing is my platform also to make a confession and depend. Whenever Brother Robert asks me to share, normally I would like to share about my daily activity and how my interaction with my family members. So I think most of the members in this Positive Pasiang already, every time they know what I share. Normally it's about my anger, how to control my anger. So I'm really grateful to all of them. They really is my spiritual friends, because the brother and sister here will give me some tips how to control my anger. And some of the brother and sister also give me some parenting tips. So I'm really, really grateful to them. Okay, that's my sharing.
Okay, Sister Riyani, for that wonderful sharing. Yeah, the PPT is prepared by the Sister Riyani's daughter. So nice. Yeah, over to you, Brother Joe, for comments.
Okay, well, it makes sense to be. I think everybody's got that. I think we all, even though I don't have a daughter, but I do totally understand what Sister Riyani just shared with us. That it seems so easily to be the anger is so easily to be triggered, but yet at the same time, I think it is sometimes necessary. Okay, I think that's what you meant, necessary to sort of show, and that's not. And I think one of the most important thing is you're not doing this as a vent for your emotion, but rather it comes mostly from your love and your the source, the origin of this action is really much for the betterment of your daughter. And I think that is very important. At the end of the day, they feel that. And I think one of the things when we try to practice patience is to feel the true intention of the people that we might be angry with. You know, when we are able to calm down, we're able to see that some of the mistakes that other people made, they are not intentional, and that is not their intention. And that is why Sister Riyani used that the Jinsi aphorism, which is you're just punishing yourself with other people's mistakes. When you're able to calm down, then you will realize that the mistakes are already happened, and what you should do, you know, other than punishing them, is to understand why and how they made that mistake. So when you're able to come, you're able to see the intention, and I think so are they. The children are able to see the intentions from you too, even though you might be scolding them, even though you might be saying that. But at the end of the day, when they're calm, when they're not in that moment, they will also be able to see your true intentions too. So when we are not patient, we're not able to be calm, and we're not able to see the true intentions of the people, and we're quick to judge and quick to jump to the conclusion. And if we're remaining in that state, and rather than, you know, if we're not coming down to the calmness, then we'll never see the true intention, and then we will always believe or make ourselves believe that the false intentions of others are something that will keep us angry. So anyway, that's I think that's something that's a very good realization. But once again, we're talking about anger. That's something that we face every day, every moment. There are things that we might be okay right now, and then something just ticked us off, and then we're, you know, going off. About what your husband said about sometimes you need to let go. I think it's necessary to let go a little bit, but it's not. It's controlled fire. Control fire. We don't want it to be a nuclear explosion. We want it to be a control fire. But the best part is always be in control. You know, do not let this take control of you, and always think of your benevolent friends, the friends that are around you. So that's why when you're surrounding yourself with these people, it is possible that you could begin to regain that control. So it's, once again, it's easy to say, you know, I lose control too. I begin to be very harsh, not shout, but harsh in my words. And it's hard for people to not feel the pain when I am in that mode of trying to make you feel the pain. But it's something that we all have to deal with. I'm glad the first two shares today all talked about this particular affliction that we have, and think about how we can deal with this. Hopefully there will be something that we keep to our minds and remember. Thank you, Sister Riyani. Thank you.
Okay, cảm ơn Brother Joe for the wonderful comments. Yeah, always to be in control. Okay, our next sharer is Sister Michele. The episode is 691, Nurture Goodness with Offering of Respects. The stanzas: Bodhisattva vow to constantly make offerings of respect to all Buddhas with love, joy, and deep faith. Making offering is drawing close to those ahead of us by respectfully serve them, and having empathy for those behind us by compassionately loving and protecting them. Yeah, let us welcome Sister Michele. Yes, Sister Michele, over to you.
Yeah. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Okay, this is what I understand from the episode, and these are the 3 key points from this episode. And I think talking about faith, and I was born in a family of Buddhist or Taoist teachings, and went to a school and learned about Catholicism, moral values, good deeds. And there came a time after I started to work that I think about Buddhist teachings. And I always relate Buddhist teachings to Mandarin speaking. Until one day I saw this advertisement that says, "What is Buddhism? 9 weeks training." And I'm very interested in this. And I think to be able to accept, to want to know about Buddhism or Buddhist teachings, it all comes with this important thing called faith. Faith is actually the key that opens the door of our hearts to accept. And I think for me to accept Buddha teaching in our organization, that is, I ended up in Tzu Chi, which is also in Mandarin. And I'm glad that I continue, and most of us have continued, because we seized the opportunity to know that we have to practice. After doing the Buddha Dhamma, we also need to practice, and we should not be afraid to take up responsibility. We know about time is short, there's impermanence, we have to seize the moments. But if we don't have that particular faith, it will bring us nowhere. So in particular, I can see that many of us walk into this Tzu Chi path, and then we fail to see the path on the cultivation path. We always see it as the forms, but not the formless. For example, when we come to Tzu Chi, and there was one time people say to me, "I don't want to join because I don't like to wear the uniform." It's not just wearing it, but you have to button up as well. So at one time I say, I must confess that I had this bad thought. Wow, so troublesome to wear this uniform. Every night I have to change. Why can't I just wear casual? Until one day, the stash thief got my bag, and in the bag is all my Tzu Chi uniform. And for that, it's an instant retribution, and it's a disharmony of my whole being. And there are also people who found Tzu Chi, but they cannot bear the culture of sitting for long hours. And I remembered I didn't have the wisdom then, telling my friend not to cross her legs. And that was the end of her in any Tzu Chi activities. So coming back to our faith here, I think many of us, especially the English speaking, they sat through trainings and progressions in Mandarin, and we got better, improved with the on-spot translation. We would have run away, but we persevered to observe further. We have our effort, we use our diligence to practice through the 6 paramitas, and we offer our respect to the Buddha. But being diligent, and it's not just knowing about the Buddha Dhamma, we also need to practice what we learn with the masses, and also to share with others. Those are the most important. Talking about faith again, we are talking about who is willing to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning in the early days. We carpool to another part of Kuala Lumpur. All of us boarded the bus all the way to Malacca for attending a day's training and back in 14 hours. If we don't have the faith, I think we cannot endure this. But I remember also my family was worried that I was involved in a cult. So it's important to share with them this faith. I believe in this lifetime also, I owe a lot to my parents for upbringing, to see the good hearts in helping others. And I also owe it to my school teacher. But when we talk about faith, we also talk about deep. It has to be deep. We need to have deeper roots. We need to be more solid and not affected by outside environment, what people say, what people think, and so on. So our future, actually, our future lifetime depends on what we cultivate today. And therefore, the first point on this episode here is on deep faith. We must have the faith, the trust, the confidence in what we are doing first. And the secondly is after you have faith, what do you do? You know, this is the Buddhist teachings. How do you make offerings to the teachers, to nature, the respect that we do in our offerings. And offerings are actually a way of connecting and drawing close to the faith. And I think sometimes I can see my parents using fruits, oil, incense, candles. basically they are actually reinforcing their faith. But maybe in Tzu Chi we learn to look at it from different aspects. We offer to our teachers by learning of the Dharma. Not only learning it, we also must practice. And that is what happens when we have dealing with people. We have a lot of need to learn how to cultivate ourselves. So when we see people transform, we know that Dharma is at work, and eventually it will lead to the nurturing the good root of goodness. I'd like to share with you about how do I know whether what we learn, we practice, it also touches other people see us that we have learned. And this is a person that I know, she just joined to see in our activities. And now he's beginning very diligent also in the Dharma with us. She changed her diet, she changed her habits. And one day her family member called me and said, I need to talk to you about this person. And I said, can you, maybe as family members, would you like to talk to her first? She said, that's why I call you. You are the only person that she listened to. So they think that she has changed a lot because of maybe many of us in Tzu Chi, because she not only talked to me, but she also talked to other sisters as well. So I think in that fact, I think if we see a person change, we also know that we are drawing closer to our teachers, that the Dharma is everywhere, and we have to use the Dharma to practice as well. One of the other stories that I can share is about a person called MG and myself. She's my cousin. She's in my house, and we are always at a tug of war. You look at me, I look like I'm smiling and calm, but actually I can be very nasty. I have this very bad habit of controlling. We all have strong egos. We all want to control. And I have this habit of putting the chairs this way, and I wanted the shoes to be neatly put, and I wanted my mother to cover the container another way. And I realized that with all this attachment, I get really agitated every time she does that. And after a few tries, I just gave up and let her do what she wants. And I believe when I gave up and just let her do what she wants, it means that I actually accepted how she do it. So came in my cousin, same thing. One day I saw that she was very afflicted with the way my mother put the cover as well. And after a few times listening to her complaints, on the 5th of March, which is when I hear about this episode, I hear the story about the little boy building the mud cities in the path of Confucius and the students parting this road. And it says something about, should I move the city or should I move across the city? Yeah. So which is the way to do it? And of course, on that day when I listened, I thought I maybe have this overbearing arrogance. I immediately tell her about, if you see her always use the cover this way, why don't you just look at it from another point, and then you won't feel so bad. And the minute I say that, she was really angry with me. And I guess the Dharma, we learn the Dharma, but the way how we apply it is another way. So I think offerings to the Buddha is by respecting, is also making sure that what you learn, other people also can accept correctly. We don't do it wrongly. And I also see in many ways my late father, how he picks up strings, plastics, and bring back to the house things to reuse items. And I was very angry with him for bringing these items. Of course, after joining Tzu Chi, we have different viewpoints. Actually, they are our teacher. Actually, all of us people around us are our teachers. Yeah. And I think in 2013 until now, I've been attending Symposium, and until today, I'm listening and learning. And even when I'm sharing now, I feel that I have not enough Dharma to share. But it's okay. I need to go ahead and make mistakes and learn as well. Do we actually practice what we preach then? how do we know that we have walked the talk? This is the part whereby what we learn in Taoism or in Catholicism or in Buddhism, our behavior and our conduct, our composure, how calm we are in every dealing, it's a testament of what we have learned. We should be always mindful of our words and our intentions. Be very clear in Tzu Chi, be very clear of the mission, be very clear of the vision, and we will do it with a lot of joy and love. Therefore, I feel that we need to, if we know that time is short, we need to seize the opportunity to practice and also make our Dharma roots go deeper so that we will not be easily affected and change our path. Cherish this affinity to listen to this Dharma. And I think meeting in the masses, we really have to, we can learn a lot from our daily life with people, matter, and objects. And the gist of this whole episode here is actually, we need to continue to plant our seed of goodness deeper, whether at the present time. We need to seize the present time to nurture this goodness, seed of goodness. And when we, how long this Dharma will be with us will depend on how long we put it into practice. The more we practice, the more we put in the seed of goodness. And knowing the Dharma is one thing we continue to practice. When I meet people with compassion or wisdom, and when I see the principles through them, actually, then I know I'm actually drawing one more step closer to the Buddha. Just like I see now my late father, I see him, when I see him do all the things like picking the strings and plastic so that nobody would trip over it, is actually, he is showing me that he's practicing the Dharma. He's having deep faith. He offers his respect to the teachings, and he practices what he speaks by showing to me. And I'm glad that today is not just my late father. I'm surrounded by people, brothers and sisters here with true principles, and I need to learn the principles and practice, so I continue to meet. Thank you to all of you for being this group of people. I'm truly blessed that our path crossed. Thank you for to listening to my sharing. Thank you.
And Sister Michele for the heartfelt sharing. Yeah, over to you, Brother Joe, for your comments.
Thanks to Sister Michele. I think that was indeed, we can feel that, the transformation and the pain, and also the story about crossing legs really brought a smile to my face, because I think we all gone through that. We all had gone through a phase where we thought we know what was right, and we are very adamant about it, and that might have caused somebody to turn away, and that's not our intention, but we are learning too. But Sister Michele, I like to think that everyone in everybody's lives, everything in everybody's lives happened for a reason. I don't believe to say that your friend that got turned away, their purpose was just to be there to show you. I don't think that was it, but I think that there was a purpose, and together there was this web of learning. You know, I'm sure when they turned away, they probably all also felt, you know, maybe they shouldn't do that, but whatever it is, I think every part of the way is a learning process, and whether it's through your coworker, your friends, or your parents, or your father, I think it's all part of our learning process. Like, as you said, seeding that seed of kindness and that love and that wisdom, and then grow that deep faith. I think that is very important. That was what you written down for the 3 key points. Having that deep faith, and then with our action we practice, and that is truly our offering. And our faith and our action, that is our offering. And I think that is something that is very, very important. So thank you, Sister Michele, for sharing with us those stories, and also encouraging all of us with what we could do. Thank you.
Okay, and Brother Joe, Okay, our next sharer is Sister Effie, who will be sharing episode 693, Learning from the Dharma with Deep Faith. The stanza goes like this. Permanence, joy, greater self, and purity are the four virtues. Only in the minds of all Buddhas is there perfect neural wisdom. With minds clear and tranquil, we are at peace. We attain great freedom with the Dharma as our guiding teacher. Yeah, let us welcome Sister Effie. Sister Effie, over to you.
Sister Lee Lee, and good morning, Brother Joe, and to all the brothers and sisters, and also to the board sufus who are present today. My understanding from this episode is the first thought that came to me was faith, vow, and action. So my sharing is on this faith, vow, and action, and taking as the Dharma as my guiding teacher. And to keep the faith in my every thought and how to check my progress in my spiritual practices thus far. Next slide, please. So to me, as I understand this episode, that first and foremost, I must have the faith. And the faith, like what Masters used to say, is the mother of all merits. So it's with faith that I can form aspiration. So I remember my Tianxi days and my patient days. So inside this episode, Master was saying also, like what Buddha says, even Sariputra, who have the foremost wisdom, still need faith to penetrate this Lotus Sutra teachings. So what about me, an ordinary person? I even need that even more or ever more to carry on as I walk this Bodhisattva path. So with faith, that forms my vow to give myself some time in Tzu Chi to learn, to understand Tzu Chi's missions more. Because coming from a background, Chinese is a handicap, so I spent some time, So that is a vow that I made. Initially, in the early years, first 2 years, I dare not make vow because vow to me is a very sacred thing, and there's a fear in me. And I only say, I always tell people that it's just a wish, it's not a vow. I'm not making any vow. So, but these episodes have been telling me that in order to have faith, when you have faith, then you have to have a vow, and then you practice it to make my life more meaningful, have a direction in this life. Sister Lily, next episode. So in this episode also, I pull out the points that one must have the 10 practices in order to deepen and strengthen our faith. Is that we must have the mindfulness and the diligence. Beside that, also must have wisdom and in samadhi with unwavering faith. As I walk along, at times, we may regress. So this episode was telling us that we have to have non-retreating, and then at the same time, like what we used to listen to Master Cheng Yen, we must protect the Dharma, Hong Fa, and then take the Dharma as our guiding teacher and dedicate all the merits. And first and foremost important also to uphold the precepts and vows. This is what I gather from this episode. Next slide, please, Sister Lily. Let me share with you why I say that faith is so important to me. That have helped me through this MCO period, this pandemic. Our community have a campaign to ask us to promote vegetarian meals, and we cannot go out, right? So, and it's also during the Lunar Chinese New Year to ask us to promote from February 1st to 28th. That means it's 28 days. I believe that if I do not have the faith, I wouldn't have carried on and see through the benefits and the joy after accomplishing what I've gone through. Because as when I received this campaign task, I was full of faith. I thought it's very easy, but I have not tried before. So half believing it and half not believing it. But as I listen to the life wisdom from Master Chen every day, Master was saying we must promote vegetarian meals diet, and we must encourage more and more people. And it's the only medicine to combat this pandemic, beside our sincere prayers. So based on that, I move on and I continue to look ways and means to spread this to all, and hoping more people will join us in this Lunar New Year to save lives and to respect lives at the same time, to reduce our cravings. So as I move on, I was full of faith at that time and full of the first 4 days, I have already achieved 1,148 meals. But when I chat with some fellow volunteers of other zone, they told me, Effie, don't be so serious. It's just a number game. How do you know? How do you know people will take the vegetarian meals as the pledges? They may just tell you, yes, I will, but they all will go on with the non-vegetarian meals. So at that point when I heard this, I thought everyone are mobilized and have this same vision as Master. So when I heard that statement, it gave me a thought, why people are telling me it's a number game? So somehow rather it's like pouring cold water on my shoulder. Luckily, at that point of time, the first week, I have achieved what my committee had given me the target, 1680 meals. So I thought I can stop for a while. But when I ponder, this episode tells me, Master always tells me that, I remember, Master says that there is no one in this world that I do not trust. If I have approached those pledges, donors, that they have pledged to have these vegetarian meals, I must have trust in them. So with this awakening statement again and again in my mind, I move on. Isn't this faith? If without this faith, I don't think I can carry on. How I'm going to finish the 23 days, the balance 23 days to get more people. So nevertheless, it's the faith that I have in Master Cheng Yen and Master Dharma teachings to save lives, to respect life of all living beings, including animals, that I put aside those unkind remarks or those who do not trust what we are doing in Tzu Chi. Along the way, from initial stage that I do not have confidence in promoting, to the day at the end of 28 days, I was full of joy when I managed to get 9,208 pledge meals from 231 persons. And that means 718 lives were respected at the same time and are safe at the same time. How I do that is because of the faith in me and the confidence, and armed with the Dharma teachings from Master, the daily WAD that I attended and the Poshin Fashiang, because I interacted all with the pledges by telling them, because at that point of time, I remember very clearly, it was 5,725 cases in Malaysia, the highest the reported COVID cases. It was alarming. So I went around, people I do not know, the public, most of my pledges are from public. As I tell them, giving them the statistics, and I tell them, I have confidence that if everyone were to pledge vegetarian meals at least once a day or twice a day, it's better if you can have 3 meals, go meatless is even better. And I told them that I believe that it will keep on dropping. Don't all of you want to be out of your home one day? So let us now pledge to adopt this vegetarian diet. I approached people from various faiths, various races, and initially they shut me off. But as I explained our master's message that this pandemic comes from animals and we have to respect life. So as I interacted with them, some of them came back just to prove to those people who have told me that it's just a number game. I got feedback every 2-3 days and night. I will call all these pledge people who have pledged the meals. I will call them up and interacted with them. And the feedback that I got was reassuring. And I'm very confident that they are really doing it. This planted some joy in me because the feedback says, Effie, initially I do not believe you. I approached many people around, spreading the words to friends, colleagues, family members, extended family members. They say that, Tzu Chi, or half belief lah, maybe how do they prove it? But I told them never to let go. Just continue to tell them that we need to within these 28 days, and in conjunction with the lunar Chinese New Year, is even more auspicious, and the merits are countless and boundless. So I told them that never to retreat. So these are the feedback that proved to me that yes, I'm on the right track. So continue to do it. So this is somehow rather it's also a vow in me that I believe I have the faith and I must carry on as a Tzu Chi volunteer, as a team leader, 协力组长, I must shoulder this with confidence, lead the way, and at the same time to protect the Dharma by spreading Master's message that vegetarian diet is the medicine. And next slide, please, Sister Lily. So this is my little sharing from the episode, why I have deep faith, learning from this episode that one must have deep faith to move on. So I have turned a mission that seems initially impossible to possible. And also it has strengthened my faith in the faith that I am engaged with spiritually. Because after the 28 days, the first week of March, I remember the statistics in Malaysia have dropped to 1,243. I was full of joy because those were the statistics initially I forecasted to all the people that I approached to come together to take on vegetarian diet. And through this process, I'm even more confident right now, even though we are this campaign is not on. I'm very confident at any point of time I can speak to anybody about vegetarian, and I have continued to do that. Those people who have approached before, and they came back smiling to me because the condition now in Malaysia was hovering around only 1,000 plus, and people can move on. The MCO have been lifted to RMCO, more relaxed rules. Isn't this faith? What if I have given up? I wouldn't have known that I've learned so much through this process. So Master says that people must promote the way, and not the way cannot promote people. 人能弘道，废道弘人. So I believe in this. It must be coming from us and the faith and apply it in the actions. 感恩, this is my sharing today. Back to you, Brother Joe.
Sister Effie for the inspiring sharing. Yeah, Brother Joe, over to you for comments.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Effie, and thanks to all the sharers this morning. Once again, we overlap on many things. At first, it was angry, right? It was this anger, and then we go into faith, especially coming from Sister Michele and also Sister Effie. They both talked about the difficulties with Chinese, and yet because of deep faith, they're able to continue. They're able to reaffirm that vow and then take on this action. Once again, I think to be able to continue and have that over 9,000 meals pledged. As you mentioned, you believe them. You believe that that is what they truly believe and truly pledged. And I always think this way: even if I pledge, if I'm on the pledging side, and I pledged to be vegetarian for 1 year, does that mean that I'm going to complete it now in this lifetime? Probably not. And if I'm not finishing in this lifetime, you know, Sister Effie is going to chase after me and make sure that I finish my pledge in the next and the lifetimes to be. So I think our pledges are forever. You know, it's not like a debt, but it's a vow, and it will be there until we are one day clear of it, and we're one day become part of it, and it will always be there. So I think that's the faith part. Once again, thanks to many, all of you who share this morning on your faith and your feelings and your emotions and also your feedback. And this is what Dharma is supposed to be, from different perspectives on watching it, and then being able to provide this feedback to all. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to Sister Lee Choo at first, and then Riyani and Michele and Effie.